Welcome back for another weekly TST update. With TST, you're going to find that there are weeks of feast and famine when it comes to breaking news. And with the tournament so far out, this was definitely a week of famine. Only one team has announced their participation, and that is the US women's national team. We got no new team announcements this past week. However, that means this is the perfect week to do our rules breakdown. Also, stay tuned to the end of the video so that you can learn more about our weekly kit giveaways. Okay, so at TST, games are 7v7 as the name would suggest. There are two 20-minute halves with a running clock, which means the clock doesn't stop when the ball goes out of play or when a goal is scored. Additionally, there are no throw-ins. These are replaced with kick-ins, and I have to say, having watched these games last year, this kept the games feeling very fast-paced. It was funny on the first day of competition seeing players adjust to this rule change in particular. Additionally, there is no offsides, and I think the reason is twofold. One, you only have one on-field official, so it would be really difficult for him to judge that all by himself, and because of the smaller field size. There is an additional referee on the sideline managing substitutions. You will notice, however, that once we get to the semifinals, that number increases to 4 officials per match, really just so you get more accurate adjudication of who's kicking the ball out of play. And most notably, what you're probably here to learn about is target score time. You've probably heard TST's tagline that every match ends in a goal, and if you're anything like me, you're probably wondering, how? So at the end of regulation, you take the leading score and you add 1 to it, and that becomes the target score. Let's do an example. So at the end of regulation, the score is 3-1. That makes the target score 4. So if the leading team scores 1 goal, they win, but if the trailing team scores 3 goals unanswered and reaches the target score first, they win the game. So that is how every game at TST ends in a goal. But on top of that, to further spice up target score time, every 5 minutes, one player from each team is kicked off the field, which last year I found introduced a lot of intriguing strategies. The winning teams have already proven that they're dominant in 7v7 soccer, so you find that they tend to try to kill the game off quickly. On the other hand, you see the trailing teams trying to stretch the game out to introduce the likelihood of some chaos once there's only 3 or 4 players on the field for each team. I have to admit that I went into this year's tournament very cynical when it came to target score time. I mean, how often are teams going to be mounting these huge comebacks in overtime? It happened a lot more frequently than I anticipated. A great example is when Wrexham came back from 2-0 down to win 3-2 in target score time. This game showcased everything TST has to offer, including an incredible comeback and 2 vibrant vocal fan bases. If you want to see more highlights from that game, I will link the highlight video in the description below. While these rules may sound a bit outlandish, I found it kept the games fresh and fast compared to 11v11 soccer that we've been watching for decades. It's time for our segment They Should Take Part, where I put forth who I think should be participating in TST 2024. This one is a no-brainer, guys. Newtown Pride FC. They are the reigning champions of TST, which means theoretically they are the only people on the planet that know how to assemble a championship side for this tournament specifically. You would like to think that they set aside $40,000 from their winnings last year that they could put towards the entry fee for next year's tournament. However, what do I know? I've never run a football club. Newtown Pride FC, I hope that you are taking part in TST 2024. Alright, so another weekly TST update means another kit giveaway. Congrats to last week's winner, Kids Gaming. You are going home with one of those beautiful Wrexham shirts. Reach out to me on Twitter or Instagram so we can link up and get you that shirt. If you want the chance to win a free kit, it's dead simple. Just subscribe to this channel. There are 22 weeks until TST 2024, which means that's 22 chances for you to win a free kit. So subscribe to this channel to enter, and I'll catch you next week.